Today, I'm spilling the tea. We're talking about my favorite visibility strategy. Whether you're a big brand or a small brand, if you want to boost your visibility and start connecting to more ideal customers, bringing them into your world, nurturing those relationships, if you want to start making more connections in your business, then one of the best strategies you can employ is to build a media tour. Hey, I'm Molly from Visibility Hacking Studios, and we do just that. We help small businesses boost that brand visibility with a variety of different strategies. And my favorite, as much as I love live shows, one of my favorite ways to connect to new audiences that have already been curated, is to create a media tour. This means you're going to start showing up on a variety of different platforms, on other people's shows, on other people's podcasts, in other people's groups. Start serving them great value. And those audience members who are keen on what it is that you'd help with, they're going to start coming into your world. It's a fantastic way of building your network and boosting your brand visibility. So in today's video, we're going to start by talking about where to get started. I'll share with you the visibility hacking secret to success. And of course, at the end, we'll talk about the money-making strategy. So for this and more, roll that intro. First step when creating your media tour is to create a hit list of all of the different platforms and shows and podcasts that you want to be on. You're going to create this giant list. I recommend starting by creating a whole bunch of different mini lists. Create a list for podcasts, create a list for live shows, create a list for Twitch streams, create a list for radio shows, create a list for each and every type of content. In those lists, you're going to add in the platforms that are really far out of reach, the really, really big platforms, all the way down to the platforms and the shows that you can easily get access to. This is the hit list that you're going to start working from. This is the list you're going to start using when you begin to contact people to say, hey, would you mind having me as a guest on your show? I have a really cool message that I want to share with your audience. To be really impactful on your interviews and your media tour, here's a bonus tip. Start with a story. People don't just want to be served value. They need to first understand why they need to pay attention to you. So start with a relatable story. Which brings us to our question of the day. I'm super curious to know, what story would you share on your media tour? What is your origin story? What is your epiphany bridge story? What is the story of how you came to the expertise that you share with the world? Let me know down in the comments. Now that you've created your hit list of people that you're interested in connecting with, shows that you're interested in being on and sharing your message in, now you have to take it to the next level. Now it's time to start reaching out and asking to be on those shows. If you haven't already checked out our little series about doing podcast guest interviews, you're going to want to check that out. I'll link it above for you guys. In that video are a ton of great strategies on how to reach out. What kinds of things do you want to utilize? What kinds of tools and whatnot can you use to get on other people's show? But bottom line, most important thing to remember when you're reaching out is to start with a place of value. You are not there to ask to share your message with their people. It's not about you. Instead, I want you to focus on their audience. How will you serve value to their audience? What is it that you've identified in their audience that is an obstacle that's stopping their people from taking further action? Once you identify that, then you can pretty much reverse engineer any kinds of teaching that you're going to be doing, any kinds of storytelling that you're going to be doing to help position you as an authority in overcoming that obstacle. always start from a place of providing value, of serving that audience before you ever ask them for anything. And so since I've served you up some great tools and strategies already, I thought it would be a great opportunity to ask you and invite you to hit that subscribe button and join us here on the channel for more tips, tricks, and strategies for your small business visibility. Now we got to make money, right? If we're focused on creating value for the media tour that we're going to be going on all of our interviews, we want to tell a great story, but we also want to serve value, something that the audience can take and run with. So how do we make money after we do that? Simple. We need to really figure out what that customer journey is. What is that next step? So once you go on your media tour, you get onto all these shows, you share your great value and your story, then what? Well, that's where we want to think about what that next step is. Once we figure out what that roadmap is, what that next step we want our listeners to take, then we can create a call to action that helps inspire them to take that next step. And no, you're never going to have an interview on someone's podcast to a brand new audience you've never been introduced to before and somehow find that they're going to purchase your high ticket product. It's not going to work that way. You need to understand the journey that the customer needs to take from that first introduction all the way down to purchasing your high ticket product. It's not the logical next step to buy a $5,000 or $10,000 or $50,000 product afterwards. Instead, focus on those micro steps. You know me, I love climbing mountains, and in order to climb a mountain, it's actually pretty simple. You just go one step at a time, and by the end of it, you'll realize that you made it all the way up and all the way back. Same thing happens with our marketing efforts. We want to make sure that we're thinking about what that next logical step is, not necessarily what the end goal is. We need to walk our people through that process. So understanding from the interview initially, what is that next logical step? Is it a landing page to collect the email addresses and the contact information of those who have shown interest in your topic? Is it to invite them into your Facebook group where you're going to present a 3 or a 5-day workshop? Is the next logical step to offer them a checklist or a downloadable PDF or a white paper or a case study report? What is that next logical step in order to deepen that relationship? It's just like dating. If you were to find a new Tinder date and you go on this date and the first thing they do is ask you to marry them, that's a little bit odd. But instead, if you had someone who went on that date and slowly introduced themselves to you and maybe took you out on a second date and a third date and really built that relationship with you, but long before they ask for your hand in marriage, that feels a little bit more natural, right? Same thing with our sales and our marketing processes. If you want to learn more of these in-depth strategies, if you want to connect with a community of inspired entrepreneurs and incredible leaders and movement makers, then I personally invite you to join us in the Visibility Hackers Facebook group. You can find us by just typing in Visibility Hackers into Facebook, or you can head over to visibilityhacking.com, and at the top of the page there's a button that says Become a Visibility Hacker. Click on that. It'll pop you over into our group, answer a couple questions so we know you're not a robot, and you can join us. In there, you'll find all of our fantastic live shows, our conversations. You'll have access to all of our experts and so much more. So come join us. Head over to the Visibility Hackers Facebook group. We'll see you over there. And until I see you again, my friends, remember, I love you. Be excellent to each other. And just go live. Your people are out there waiting for you.